welcome back. So this is the second video on how to study Hindi series. If you haven't seen the first video, I highly recommend you see it to understand what we will be discussing in this video. I will link that video in a card and it'll appear on the top right corner of your screen right about now. In the last video, we discussed the kind of questions that you may find in a judicial service exam on an Hindi language paper and how you should start by creating a foundational resource for all your important Hindi words. So here's a quick recap of the last video. To get a strong foundation in Hindi, you need to start doing 10 Hindi words with its respective English meaning every day. And you need to do this from the beginning of your preparation. This will help you in creating a comprehensive resource of about 3,000 words by the end of your preparation. And 10 Hindi words a day, if you think about it, that's not even that much time. And you need to do these 10 Hindi words by using the patching technique. Now, what is this patching technique? Patching essentially means doing similar things in a line, and it's a highly recommended productivity technique. So in case of doing Hindi words, it would mean doing 10 Hindi words but along with all of its variations, derivatives and related words. Let me show you by example what I mean by it. Let's take the word judiciary for example. So judiciary in Hindi is Nyay Tantra, or also known as Nyay Palika. Now, what would be the derivatives or variations or related words for judiciary? One of the word would be judicial. Related to judiciary in the similar line, judicial is Nyayik. Another related word would be judicial inquiry, and that is Nyayik Janch. Similarly, judicial independence is Nyayik Swatantrata. Then comes judicial reform, which is Nyayik Sudhar. Then comes judicial appointment commission like Nyayik Niyukti Ayog, or judicial accountability commission, which is Nyayik Jawabdehi Ayog. Now the last two commissions can be really relevant if you have to write an essay on an appointment commission or accountability commission. Further, you can also add judicial restraint, which is Nyayik Sanyam, or judicial overreach, which is Nyayik Adhisandhan. Then judicial activism, which is Nyayik Sakriyata. Then judicial propriety, which is Nyayik Maryada, or judicial probity, which is Nyayik Imandari. Then judicial review, which is Nyayik Samiksha. Then judicial remedy, which is Nyayik Upchar. And lastly, judicial stamp, which is Nyayik Mudrank. Now, as you see, all of these words kind of sound similar. That is because they have one common root word of Nyay. And they just are variations or different combinations of the word judicial with other words. Now imagine if you have to write an essay on judicial activism or judiciary in any Hindi paper, and you know all these words in a line and your mind remembers them in a pattern. How great will that essay be? You will remember them all together in a pattern and you can use them all in an essay or a translation. And how impressed will be the examiner that you know all these Hindi words related to judiciary. And it didn't even take that much time, right? What? 3-4 minute tops and you did all the judiciary words. You can write an essay with this, you can handle a translation, paragraph, anything on judiciary. Basically, you can handle any question. Let's take another word for example. Let's start with discrimination. What is discrimination? Bias, prejudice, favoritism. What's the Hindi word for it? The Hindi word for it is bhedbhav or pakshpat. Another related word to discrimination, discriminatory. And what would be the word for discriminatory in Hindi? It's pakshpatpurn or pakshpati. The next Hindi word would be caste discrimination, which is varna bhedbhav. And then class discrimination, which is varg bhedbhav. So all of these are related to discrimination, different kinds of discrimination. These are variations of the word discrimination, different combinations of the word discrimination. This is what's called patching technique, where you do one word, but then you finish all the variations, all the derivatives, all the related words with it. So your mind kind of sees it as a pattern and you remember all of them in a line when you're actually writing the exam. Now you may ask, why is this patching technique so important? Why is it going to be helpful? Why is it so highly recommended by those famous researchers at Harvard Business School or Harvard Business Review for productivity purposes? It's because we, as humans, are hardwired to recognize patterns. And this has been true from our days as hunter-gatherers. when we were cavemen going out in search of food. We recognized patterns for self preservation, and that instinct is still within us. And we are much better at recognizing patterns than we are at reading and remembering. This is why our audio visual memory is so much better. This is why our videos also help you so much. And this is where patching technique comes into play. Patching techniques tricks your mind into recognizing the pattern of words, and you remember all those words together. And this technique can be really helpful, especially for competitive exams. Remember, in competitive exams, it's not just about how many hours a day you study, but it's also about how efficiently you study, and it's all about the strategy, what kind of strategy you apply. And we believe that studying with the patching technique can really help you achieve that same goal in a much lesser time and a more organized fashion with less clutter and more clarity. Now, we hope that this has been helpful to you, and don't worry, we'll do more videos on this to help you understand how to utilize this technique for Hindi words. If you want us to do more Hindi words for you so that you don't have to do the research and you don't have to batch them up, we can do that as well. But just make sure to leave us a comment, tell us in the feedback what you want, and then we'll work on the videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified of the new videos, and we'll see you next week.